The choice of media technologies we used for our video was very vital into creating a high-quality music video. We use the cameras Nikon D34,000 and the Canon 700D to film our video. We have also used our mobile phones to record different angles and camera shots, and as a second camera so that we can get different perspectives. The cameras that we used were able to provide 4K quality compared to some of the cameras we used last year, which gave a really low quality video. In some cases, we had to record with two cameras at the same time, as one camera wasn't enough to show more than one angle. An example of this is when I was recording the burning dolls, and I needed to get a front view of the doll burning and a higher angle of the dolls burning. This was also very important when the doll fell over during my shoot, but I was able to continue recording with my second camera. Sometimes with the cameras we use tripods in order to get a steady view from our recording. Examples of this was when we were recording some of the hospital scenes, we had to do panning shots with the tripod. This was very handy when we wanted a still and stable shot of the protagonist walking. However, it wasn't always throughout the video that we used the tripods. Some of our shots we used handheld recording. This is so that the audience would feel in the moment and there with the protagonist. Sometimes we found it quite hard to control the lighting with the cameras, so therefore we had to change the shutter speed to either lower or higher to get an either darker or lighter image. The main software that we used for editing our video was Final Cut Pro. Through this we found many challenges and difficulties which we learnt to overcome to complete our video. One thing that we found with using Final Cut Pro on the Macs is that our work kept getting deleted, especially our clips. This made it very difficult for us as we ended up with a amount of missing clips and not many shoots to work with. However, we edited what we had left to create our final product. The first thing we did was put the sound in, and then overlaid it with our clips. We roughly put our clips in order and then used the blade tool to cut our clips. On Final Cut Pro, we also used the speed up and slow down tools. We also use fast forward and rewind. The speeding up was very handy when recording the fire as it made the flames flicker better, and the slowing down tool made some of our clips a lot more dramatic. The reverse tool was mainly used at the end of the clip, where we reversed the whole story for a summary of her story. We also had to edit the colour on some of our clips. We did this through the colour board on Final Cut Pro. And then of course we had to fit the clips to the music, which we was able to do through trial and error by shortening and lengthening some of the clips. We use Final Cut Pro compared to iMovie as it is more professional and has a more complex interface, which is more like mainstream media production. We used Adobe Photoshop, for the editing of our digipack. We wanted to emphasize the mountain effect, so we did this by creating another layer, locking the first layer, going on to liquidize, changing the brush size, and dragging down different areas to alter the sizes and the amounts of mounting. We then also played with the colour through levels and the colour board. We then went on to fonts for the text. As I do photography, we were able to use the photo studio and the resources there for our video. So we used the large lighting, professional lighting, and we also used a projector. We used YouTube for inspiration for our video by looking at other videos by neo-soul artists and analysing different music videos in different genres. We also used YouTube to upload our final video. We used Excel for our survey and for people to give us feedback on. We did this through a spreadsheet where we were able to ask questions and fill it out like a graph. We used the internet through our laptops for research into neo-soul artists and for most of our research in general for our project. in which we also used our mobile phones, which are both iPhones. We used our phones for communicating with each other to plan our days in which we're shooting and editing. We used it for social media, emails, and like I said before, for an extra camera and lighting. We used Apple Music where we brought the song for our video, and we had used email to ask for permission to use the song in our video. Like I said, we came across many problems with using technologies, such as losing our videos and finding how to use Photoshop to get the initial ideas that we had for our Digipack front cover. However, we were soon able to overcome this through researching via the internet and through a lot of perseverance. We also used Final Cut Pro for our magazine cover, in which we had to copy and paste our Digipack cover and colour fill the page to black and then insert our writing. If there would be anything that I would have changed about our media technologies that we used, the only thing that I would have said is that I would have liked to did the editing for the music through an official mixing or music editing site, as when we cut some of the song on Final Cut Pro, we found it quite difficult to merge the bits together to make it sound like one song and to not make it as obvious that we cut out sections of the song. The only reason that we cut out a little bit of the song was just so that our music video would make more sense and that the storyline would be more intense and more meaningful compared to where if it was dragged out for longer.